smooth boards. On top of that, we got a steam in your team. Look at your crown, natural, relax at a Jericho, one time soft and sheen.
What's up, Panthers? We are back with PTV UNCUT for Black History Month, and I got two special guests.
I'm Courtney String.
And I'm Esther.
And I just want to ask you guys a couple of questions and just have a conversation. Y'all cool with that?
I'm down.
All right, bet. So, what makes Black history?
The people. I think it's not anything specific. It's just the people, what they do with their culture, like your family and all those types of stuff makes Black history.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that what makes Black history is just our culture, what we represent, where we came from, and just embracing the struggles that we have faced as people of color and coming together to celebrate one another, our accomplishments, and even the accomplishments that are pretty hidden within our society that a lot of people don't even know about, as far as the things that we've created or the things that we have built, what we have established. So just educating people on some of the excellence that we have.
Okay. See, I feel like every day that we're alive, we're breathing. That's Black history right there. We're doing something. We're doing something with our lives. Even us, like in our generation, we do a lot to better ourselves and break a lot of generational things that have happened over the years, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So you guys were in a play, and y'all did great.
Thank you.
But you were queen. And remind me what you were?
No, I was queen.
Oh, you were queen.
She was...
It was like, you were the empress.
Yeah.
And then
like,
I was like...
Yeah, it was like you're her mom and she was a princess. So that's why I was like, okay, so you're a queen?
Yeah, I was the queen and she was like the empress, but like she was...
Higher up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you were higher up. You were like grandma, you were higher up.
Yeah.
So I noticed at the breakfast, a little brown girl comes up to you guys and asks for a picture. Yeah. How does that feel to have little kids that look like you, like, ask for stuff like that?
I feel so thankful. I think when I was younger, especially like in middle school, I didn't have that. I didn't have anyone to look up to. I had Courtney, that was it. Because I remember in middle school, in our theater department for middle school, there was literally only white people. And so it was like I didn't see anyone like me. I didn't see anyone remotely like me, and it felt weird. And then that was like mostly in like my first middle school, and then when I came to Stockdick, I met Courtney, and I was like, oh, there's someone like me. There's someone who can like chase their dreams and still be a person of color. So it felt really nice to see that. It was refreshing.
Yeah, it was really touching for me, especially because throughout this entire production, we of course had our hair in these styles, and it really does represent our culture. So for her to see that, somebody on stage, somebody playing the role of a queen and an empress, like higher up, and being a person of color and wearing styles as a person of color. And I think that it really does like show the progress that we have as a further generations to come. And she can always look back on that, and like that could be me. Like there's nothing stopping me. Like I can continue to push. I can continue to push past these boundaries that were set in place before me and overcome all of that. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you believe that there is a lack of strong Black female princesses in media in general?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like because of the power that we now have as far as our voice and us speaking up, that is what is starting to get us more African-American dolls, African-American things in stores and on TV shows. And I feel like if it wasn't for us like actually being like, my daughter or my son deserves to see a person of color across that screen, it would have never happened. Yeah. So we definitely have a strong voice within us, and hopefully we'll see some more in the future.
For sure. I think that it's kind of hard to look forward to those things because it's like I've never seen it before, so I don't know how it will manifest or it will come true. But it's my hope that like when I have kids one day, they'll see themselves on the screen, not just like Zendaya. because that's the one person who's been representing the Black community. But I want more people so that my kids will be like, oh, that's me on screen. Like, that can be me. So definitely there is a lack of representation. And I also want my kids to be able to say that this Black princess is my favorite because she's like me, not just Tiana, who was a frog for 3 or 4 seconds.
I was going to get into it. I was going to get into it.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, as creators, they felt that seeing her for like 10 minutes of a movie was enough, you know?
It's not.
And I think it's not, because over the years, African Americans have been seen as animals. And so it feels like, okay, you gave us a movie with a princess that she becomes a princess at the end, and she's an animal throughout basically the whole movie.
Yeah.
And for me, I do, so it's kind of like, because they show her struggling and trying to save money and losing her father and her kind of being in poverty, which I understand because a lot of African Americans face that. But also at the same time, it's like when I watch Beauty and the Beast or these other non-African American princesses, none of them are like, you know, besides Cinderella, who was kind of playing the role of like a servant. But even then, she was living in a place of royalty. So it's just kind of like you give us a Black princess and you like make it be known like she's a person that comes from poverty and she relies on her Caucasian friend to assist her with all these things. And, you know, she goes through bankruptcy and all that type of stuff. It's like, that's not all of our situations. Yeah. Some of us do come from money, or we do, like our parents have worked up the fact that our next generations to come, that my kids, that I will be set, that my grandkids will be set. Like, we work hard. Why do we have to constantly show us struggling? Like, show the power that we have, the fact that we can go out there, work, make money, and live this successful life. So
I think it's still that like instilled mentality that we don't have that.
Right.
And that's what I mean. Like, I'm grateful that I'm in Katy, that I go to this school. Like, it shows like how much we've grown and how far we've come. And I just think like in general, Disney needs to do better. A lot of people need to do better. Like the movie Soul.
Oh yeah.
Black man eventually
turns into
an animal. And it's like, he didn't have to.
Yeah.
And they knew that. But with any other movie, it's like specific, and it like, to me, it really, what is that word, like helps their culture. Like it feels like it goes into depth with theirs, but like it feels like ours is one specific thing, poverty. Which doesn't, like, it's not it. Like, even him, he was struggling. He was a struggling artist. Yeah. Like, it feels like we do more than struggle.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like our success is not shown. It's going unseen. It's kind of like it's being erased in a sense. Because there is a lot of successful Black people. My parents are successful. They're Black. And they actually came to America. They weren't born here. So, like, they had to struggle even more. So it's like, when you look at movies like that, when you look at things like that, it's erasing all our hard work. It's just making us seem like, oh, all of us are the same or in the same situation, which some people are, and that representation for them is good. But we also need to show young Black people that, hey, you can be successful. You don't have to, you know, live in poverty. You are successful if you make yourself successful. So, I mean, yeah.
I think our parents did a good job in raising us, and I think people call our generation weak because we won't, stuff that they were like, okay, I'll deal with it. Yeah. We're not gonna do that. Yeah. Right. Like, you grew us up, like they raised us basically to be strong, independent women. For sure. And so we're not gonna take anything that isn't, like, it's unnecessary. Yeah. I feel like my parents also, one came down here, didn't speak English, and she had to learn. She didn't even know how to work with computers, but she got a job, and she did what she had to do, and we have our beautiful house now. I mean, people work hard, we work hard, and I feel like there's nothing to show by that. Like, everything is a difficult situation. Yeah. Right. Even in TV shows now, like, something's going off. Like, Everybody Hates Chris. Like, I like that it was real.
Yeah.
Like, I like that it was real, but come on, my man got 2 jobs. Come on now. Like, okay, you work hard for what you want, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it needs to be shown more, I feel.
For sure.
Show the successes, show the good moments, not just the bad.
Not just bad, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I feel like our generation's going to do a good job at showing our kids. 100%. And I mean, everything changes, but not by people who stay silent, not by people who follow the rules. Right. You know? So, I just got one question. How frustrating is the phrase, all lives matter?
So when looking on social media, when looking at the reports, when seeing police brutality going on and seeing that it's targeted, if you truthfully believe all lives matter, you would still stand for Black Lives Matter. Sure. And that's just how I feel, period. Because you would still be in those protests. You will still spread the word. You will still do everything that you can, especially as a Caucasian male or female, that the authority or the power that you have that we don't, use that platform. Because for you to be like, all lives matter, you're excluding us at the end of the day. Just like when they created a lot of, the Pledge of Allegiance, for example. We were still slaves when they wrote that. And they were talking about so it's just like, for you to be like, all lives matter, you're trying to shoot us down. Because if I say, oh, Black Lives Matter, like, I'm here to stand for my people, I'm here to protect my people, and you be like, all lives matter, you just shot me down. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't acknowledge the fact that I said that my life mattered, and that you can be a part of this to create a new history, to create a change. Yes.
The world for kids to come. I mean, kids don't see color.
Right.
They're taught that.
Of course.
They are taught that. And I mean, you see that. I think all lives matter. I won't say it's a protest to my protest, but what is it? Who is it helping?
Right.
Who is it helping? The blue lives matter at that. Police, they are people who put on a uniform. Mm-hmm. I cannot take my skin color off.
Right. You can't.
No one can.
And so that's just like, you're just saying a uniform matters? Anyone can wear a uniform.
Exactly.
And they will still hurt and target us, you know? Mm-hmm. So
I think that phrase is used to silence us. Absolutely. It's kind of like a way to be like, oh, shut up. Like, stop saying that, you know? But whenever we as Black people try to bring awareness to our problems, there's always a rebuttal. There's always a return statement. And so that is a way, like, people saying that is a way to shut us up and be like, oh, be quiet. Like, that doesn't matter. We all matter. So it's like a way to make us unseen.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So. Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like we never said that their lives didn't matter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we're just stating out that something is happening to a specific group of people, and it feels like no one cares.
Throughout all of history, though.
All of history.
All of history. Like, to this point, no matter, like, I'm 100% appreciative that we are free and that I have the privileges that my ancestors didn't. But that doesn't change the fact that they try to find a new way, a new system to still keep us enslaved and still endanger us, like, still treat us like animals, like beasts. So for you to open your phone and see videos of just people getting killed on the street, somebody that you knew just got killed for walking to the corner store because they looked suspicious because they were wearing a hoodie, the same hoodie you just borrowed from them last week. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, how can you say, like, all lives matter when you see a specific life being targeted, specific people?
Especially if after hashtag, every time I open Twitter, it's a new one. And it's just like, you're saying all lives matter, but you're not acting on it.
Right.
When we say Black Lives Matter, we act on that. Mm-hmm. We take an action because we want change. But you saying all lives matter, you're not bringing any change, not even to your life, to no one's life. You're just saying it as a rebuttal to shut us up. But as Black people, we get tired because it's like, how am I going to raise a kid in this environment that's so hostile towards me? Why would I want to raise a kid that's so hostile towards black men, towards black women, towards black trans women, black trans men? Like, I don't want to raise my child in that environment.
Right.
Especially if all lives matter is your rebuttal, but you don't take action on it.
Right. You're not supporting our life. Like, if you're going to claim all lives matter, don't just say that to try to shut us down. Say, I believe all lives matter, but I'm going to support you because you're a part of that life. Like, you are included in that all. I'm not excluding you like they did in the past. I'm not repeating history by just ignoring the problem, by creating this pledge that claims, oh, we're free. Like, this is everything's fine. Everything's perfect here in America. And I'm still whipping you on the cotton field. You know what I mean? So,
and I feel like that's where, honestly, like, I think that kneeling for the national anthem, I will support it forever, because it's not about being disrespectful. Actually, a military person told him, Colin Kaepernick, they told him to kneel instead of sitting on the bench. And that is what he did out of respect for the person in the military. So I feel like that, oh, they fought for our freedom. No, they didn't. We fought for their freedom while we were still enslaved. And that's just the fact of the matter. This is not about military. This is about the fact that kids might not come home to their parents.
right.
Like, you go home, you go somewhere else, then you don't come home again. Like, how does that make a parent feel? And that's why I was like, my question is, how would you prepare your child for a world that might not accept them? I don't think I could. I don't think I could.
It's kind of hard to say, but it's just a part of life that they have to experience. No matter how many times you explain it to them, like, even for me, being in a system, being in a household full of all African American women, who are constantly educating me, constantly seeing the things on social media, and then getting my first job and they ended up being racist towards me. It was an experience I never had before. And so it was a feeling that nobody could ever prepare me for. It was a type of rage that I felt that nobody could explain to me. So of course I can have those conversations with my child and I can try my best to protect them. But at the end of the day, when they go into that real world, there's nothing that's going to prepare them besides the harsh truth of reality. Yeah. So I just have to hope and pray that there will be a change so that when my child does come, it's not a punch in the face, you know? Like, it's not like I'm defeated. I don't want them to see that situation and think, like, when I worked that job, I could have easily been like, yeah, I'm going to go, which eventually I did end up, yeah, I'm going to go. But I still worked because I had responsibilities. I had something to do. I had a goal on where I wanted to go. So I pushed through that, and then I ended up finding something better and excelling in that community, having managers who were very supportive of me, being able to open up about that. Even when going to new jobs now, I do have that conversation with my managers on, I have dealt with racist activity before. I want to know, how is your environment? How will you protect me as an African-American woman? What are the steps that you do to ensure that your employees aren't discriminating against me? That is a conversation that should be had with every workplace, but is silenced because at the end of the day, they're going to work the African American the hardest that they can and let everybody else sit down and have a relaxing time. Mm-hmm. So that's the hard part. If you do your job good, they're going to continue to make you do more stuff. So
I think it's a hard conversation to have with your kid. Growing up, my parents put me in places where there were a lot of white people because they just thought that it was better because they're immigrants. So, they thought that was a better environment. But then as we continue to grow, they realized that a lot of people are hostile towards us, and they started having conversations with me and my brother, especially my brother because he is Black and he's a man. So we had conversations like, please don't go out late at night. If you ever get stopped by the police, put your hands up, put your hands on the wheel, make sure they can see what you're doing. when you're reaching for something, say what you're reaching for. Don't do any sudden movement, things like that. And it's hard to see because any other race, their parents don't have to prepare their child for that. But it's like, I'm so used to getting a new talk every single time that a black person ends up dead on the news. I get a new talk every week. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And it's gonna be hard for me to have that conversation with my child because it's like I'm limiting them. Because in a way, we are limited because no one wants to end up dead. You don't want your child to end up dead. But
Right.
in order to do that, you have to have conversations like these, unfortunately. So I think it's going to be hard. I guess it's more of a learning experience. There's no real way to be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. You have to go through an experience to be able to like talk to your kid in a beneficial way.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, I feel like after having this conversation, I could be able to explain to my children, like, what to do, what not to do,
Yeah.
without trying to limit everything,
Yeah.
honestly. And I feel like everyone in general has to do better about black communities.
Right.
For sure.
Like, yes, they're poor, yes, they're in poverty, but we can fix that. We can change that. And I think one day we will, especially our generation.
Absolutely.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming to talk to me today.
Thank you for having us.
This is amazing. See ya.